Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Cassandra Gandara, Mayor Pro Tem. I will be presiding over the meeting this afternoon while Mayor is away at the Sister Cities function. And so what I would like to do is first extend our gratitude to the men and women of our fire department and police for all that they do to keep us safe 24/7. And now let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilor Corrin.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilor Corrin and all. I just want to give a warm welcome back to Councilor Flores. We are very excited that you're with us.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you, thank you. And next up, we will have Pet of the Week, Amy DeFelix. Are you on Zoom, Amy?
Hello. Yes,
Hi,
I'm here.
there you are.
I do want to mention, most of them are sleeping. In case you hear any background noise, I have a mama and 11 puppies in my office. So sometimes they might get a little barky, but just in case. But hello, I am one of the adoption and rescue coordinators for the Animal Services Center of the Mesilla Valley. My name is Amy DeFelix, and every week I pick and present the pets of the week. So let's go ahead and start by me sharing my screen right here. Turn my video up so you can see. Alrighty. And we'll start off, as always, with our cat of the week. His name is Shiloh. His number is 65276. And he says, like my name suggests, I'm quite shy, but underneath my exterior, I'm truly a sweet boy. I came from a hoarding situation, so I didn't get much socialization when it was needed most. Since being at the ASCMV, I've learned that I love chin scratches, and will even start drooling a little bit if I get some. I just need a family dedicated to giving me the time and space to flourish. And then for our dog of the week, we have Angel. Her number is 53736, and she says, much like my brother Blue, who was last week's dog of the week, I came to the ASCMV as a teeny puppy. I came back several months later, and now I'm spending my young adulthood hoping I'll find my forever home soon. I can be a little shy at first, but all it takes is some reassurance and pets, and I open up quickly. I walk nicely on the leash and know how to sit for treats, but I'm just missing my family that will help me blossom. And regarding adoption events, we are still in the middle of the shelters. Every single adoption is only $25. It's definitely a huge discount. It covers everything: spay, neuter, vaccinations, microchips, everything. Only $25. So we definitely encourage you all to stop by. We have an offsite adoption event at Petco this Saturday, the 26th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we also encourage you guys to stop by. And now, next up on my disease prevention series, I'd like to talk about distemper, and I know it's particularly canine distemper, is one of the ones that are part of the combo core vaccine that let you get your puppies. But some people maybe vaccinate but don't really know what's in it or why or what really happens if they're not vaccinated. So this is what it's about. Distemper is a viral infection. It's multisystemic. That means it affects multiple organ systems. It's spread by direct contact between a susceptible dog and an infected dog. The incubation period can range between 1 week to over 1 month, which is terrible and frustrating because without an incubation period that long, it's hard to pinpoint exactly where a dog might have gotten it from. It's always quite a struggle for disease tracing purposes, especially here at the shelter. The duration of the disease typically ranges from 1 week to 6 weeks. And distemper symptoms, initial symptoms mimic common like kennel cough or upper respiratory symptoms. So that's like ocular discharge, a watery to pus-like, like a little more opaque ocular discharge from the eyes. Of course, fever, coughing, lethargy, reduced appetite and vomiting are all kind of symptoms that are also present in kennel cough or upper respiratory infection. So it's in these initial stages, it's kind of hard to distinguish between the two, but progressive symptoms as the virus keeps reproducing, it will eventually attack the nervous system. And of course, this is where it starts to distinguish itself and make itself known as distemper. And that's neurological symptoms like circling behavior, head tilt, muscle twitches, convulsions with jaw chewing and salivation. So like they can't stop like chattering or chewing, like clenching their jaw. It can even progress to seizures, partial or complete paralysis. Distemper itself is more often than not, fatal. And survivors, when they do survive, have permanent neurological damage. So it's never a great outcome to come out of distemper. And distemper diagnosis and treatment, veterinarians diagnose through like clinical presentation, like their symptoms when they're being observed, and also laboratory testing. We run like I believe an antibody test or a PCR test. Treatment consists mostly of supportive care and management of symptoms because there is no cure for distemper. It's mostly controlling the vomiting, diarrhea, and combating the dehydration through fluid administration, the supportive care to keep their body at least as stable as possible while it tries to fight off the virus itself. Diagnosed dogs must be quarantined to prevent spread, obviously, and that can take, of course, the range of 1 to 6 weeks, the lifespan of the disease, as well as maybe possibly any kind of time slightly after if there's possible disease spread after symptoms resolve, if they do. Distemper prevention, of course, like I said, there is no cure for distemper. Like most viral infections, there's no, you can't just take like a medicine and have it go away quicker. So prevention is definitely the most effective route. So vaccination, underlined, exclamation point, highlighted, vaccination is the most important way to prevent your dog from contracting distemper. So it starts in puppyhood. It's part of their DHPV, their distemper parvo combo vaccine. Vaccinate them. It's up to your personal vet. I know we revaccinate puppies and kittens until they're, I believe, about 5 months old. And then revaccinating adults every year as soon as vaccines are due. I think there might be some like 3-year vaccines. So it's whenever the vaccine itself expires or loses efficacy, definitely revaccinate as soon as possible to maintain their immunization and make sure that they're not susceptible in any sort of time frame in their life. Of course, avoiding contact with suspected infected animals and wildlife. If a dog looks sick, don't bring your dog near them. Wildlife, in general, it's definitely something to be wary of with your animals, just if not just distemper, other random diseases that wildlife can carry. You want to keep your dog away from that. Don't let your dogs interact with other dogs unless they're fully vaccinated. So that's like taking them to the dog parks, doggy daycare, boarding. And I know like doggy daycare and boarding usually require your dogs to be fully vaccinated anyways. That's kind of a measure that they have slowly started to implement just to minimize disease outbreaks in their facilities in general. But dog parks, it's kind of unregulated, so that's definitely at your own discretion, but highly encouraged for you to not bring your dog to a dog park until they're fully vaccinated, just in case. Definitely keep your dogs healthy and safe. That is the ultimate goal. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amy. Very important information. Appreciate that. Next up, we have Jobs of the Week. Sarah Rainey, are you there? Hi, Sarah. There you are.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm going to stop my video and share my screen with you all. Okay, can we see that?
We can, yes.
Okay, great. All righty. Oops. There we go. All right, for the jobs of the week, we have an industrial waste programs inspector for the city of Las Cruces. That one pays $24.78 an hour. Well, it starts there. It closes next week on 8/28. Also for the city of Las Cruces, we have a transport officer. That one starts at $15 an hour, and that closes next week as well. We also have a commissary officer at the White Sands Missile Range. That one ranges from $57,000 to $89,000 a year, depending on experience. That one closes this week on the 24th. We have a line cook for Jim Bob's Barbecue. That one ranges from $12 to $15 an hour and closes in September. An administrative assistant at NMSU for $16.05 an hour. That one closes on 8/31. An order replenishment manager for the Coca-Cola Southwest beverages. And that one ranges from $16 to $22 an hour, depending on experience. That one closes in September as well. And just to let everybody know, we're located over on 226 South Alameda Boulevard here in Las Cruces. You can reach us at 524-6250 or online always at employeenm.com or on our new app. And you can get that on Google Play or the App Store. So thank you very much, guys. You have a wonderful week.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Now we have a Mayor's Certificate of Achievement presented to Natalia Cosa Briones. Is she here? Natalia? Hi, Natalia. I'm Cassandra. Nice to meet you. You're a little embarrassed. You'll be okay. Listen, this is a Mayor's Certificate of Achievement that's presented to Natalia Acosta Briones in recognition of your commitment and dedication in helping to make Las Cruces a better community. It's signed by our mayor, Ken Miyagishima, dated 21st of this year, 2023. Can you tell us a little bit about what you were doing? Yeah, come on.
I competed in a national Spanish spelling bee, and I won first place.
Yay, Thank you. Can you tell me the word that you won with? Do you remember? No? Okay, that's all right. All that matters is that you won. Good job. We're very proud of you. Keep it up, okay? And in Espanol. Wow. I'm impressed. Good for you. You're welcome. Thank you. Oh, it's gonna go. She goes to Mesa. Thank you. How are you? Proud parents, I'm assuming, back there? Yes? Yes. You're doing good. Keep it up. Next up is a presentation, Mayor's Certificate of Achievements, presented to the Las Cruces Utilities Solid Waste employees. I see you over here to my right. You want to come on down? Please. Hi, how are you? Good, good. So we have not just certificates, but these beautiful plaques. And their award of outstanding service, Cariño, in recognition of your work extinguishing the clean landfill fire. Thank you very much. This one is, before I do that, you want to go ahead? Okay, Carlos, are you here? Carlos Arujo? Did I butcher it? I'm so sorry. Okay, very good. Thank you so much for your service. Wow. Ted LaTurner, sorry. Thank you so much for your service. Hector Lozoya. Thank you for your service, Hector. Yeah. Ricardo Sanchez. Michael Apodaca. Thank you so much for your service. Edward Lopez. Thank you so much for your service. Dennis Lovato. Cody Murillo. Max Gonzalez. Thank you for your service, Max. Anthony Luna. Thank you so much, Anthony, for your service. And then last but certainly not least, Philip Glosson. Thank you for your service. And then we have their supervisor here that would like to say a few words.
Hi, my name is Carl Pierce. I'm the Deputy Director for Solid Waste. And this group of men, I'm very proud of them, what they did. We got the call to extinguish this fire for the greater safety of the public. And some of these guys were taking shifts all night to make sure the fire didn't spread. Some were in really positions and conditions of turning the dirt to put that fire out. And some of them were out here to keep our equipment going so we could do it. I'm really proud of them. They did it within the time limit that we needed to get done for public safety. And yeah, thank you.
Okay, that concludes our presentations and proclamations. Thank you. Okay. Next is, do we have any of us on council and on staff have any conflict of interest?
None by Flores.
None, Graham.
None. None, Gorin.
None, Candela. Thank you. Next up is our public participation. We will give you 3 minutes. I'll start on my left. Anybody on the first row, second? Hi. Please make sure you state your name, please, for the record.
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. My name is Kathy Stark, and I'm with Animal Advocates for Change. Many years ago, a wise man told me that I needed to understand that people will never fail to disappoint me. And the city continues to disappoint on issues of animal care and control. Most recently, on July 27th, a letter was signed by the city's animal control supervisor and the county animal control manager on city letterhead, and it was sent to the local veterinarians posing 4 questions about spay and neuter services. The letter was also sent to SNAP. SNAP doesn't provide veterinary services, which I think most of us know. The letter was deeply concerning, and we're aware that a response and responses were sent expressing concerns by our veterinarians. For those of us with pets or caring for community cats, our vets are extremely important and precious to us, and the last thing we would like to see is anything that could alienate them from the work and the services they're providing for us. The letter requests information about the ability of our veterinarians to offer low-cost spay and neuter, but it never defines what is low cost. So there's no way for them to answer that. But even more concerning is the second question. And that question was, would you be willing to assist with free spay-neuter clinics via the Doña County Mobile Clinic? Are we really asking these professionals to perform their work for free? They're already overwhelmed. They're already working extensively long hours. They regularly provide services for free or at discounted rates, but their costs are not discounted or free to them. What other profession would we be asking whether they would perform their services for free? I believe Mr. Peely gets a car allowance. Should he work for free? Our police officers, many have cars. Should we ask them to work for free? I don't think so. We have veterinarians that are willing to help with spay and neuter. We have veterinarians that are willing to devote full days to this effort. But they should never be asked to do this work for free or at a cost that doesn't recognize they too have costs. We have a work session planned for October 10th, I believe it is. And typically the purpose of a work session is to bring forward a document prior to coming before the council, but a document on which consensus has been reached. Over the past year, we have reached consensus with local rescues, with the ASCMV, but our efforts to meet with city animal control have either gone unanswered or have been politely declined. This is very concerning, since the intent of a work session would be to brief you on what is being proposed in the new ordinance. It's very disappointing. Members of the community and members of AAFC regularly ask me, why is the city not engaging? Why are they not at the table? And I don't have an answer for them, except people will never fail to disappoint. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stark. Anybody on the second? Would you like to say something? The beep's not working. You'll let me know. Okay, that was second row. Third row. Yes, please come on down. Give you 3 minutes. State your name, please, for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Stan Engel. That's E-N-G-L-E for the record. Hopefully I will keep this short, but who knows. I'm here to thank the city for their work on South Melendrez Street, installing the traffic calming. It's been a few months, and I apologize for not showing up earlier and entering my comments into the record, but I am very appreciative of it. I still believe that the city can do more, though, not just in my neighborhood, for example, adding a stop sign on Brown and Melendrez, but also to, in other neighborhoods, to slow traffic, calm traffic, so that our neighbors, our kids, can actually enjoy their neighborhoods once again, without the threat of multi-thousand-pound vehicles bearing down on them constantly. So I encourage this body to continue to find ways to help encourage our community members and our kids to be able to be outside in their own neighborhoods and be able to safely get to school or get to our local businesses. And I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. Okay, anybody else on that third row?
Mayor Pro Tem Councilor, my name's Lorelei English, or Lori English. On June 7th, 2023, an item was on the agenda regarding a monument to be erected in Veterans Park. Prior to hearing public comment, you people, and it's kind of ironic that the mayor's not here because he's not included in my complaint. You ladies heard or came out, spoke on the issue about the monument, pretty much told us what you were thinking even before it even came up for public comment. Decisions were made off the podium, so to speak. The names on the walls in Veterans Park are honorable names of veterans that enlisted in the state of New Mexico, not just veterans in general. Just because a father is in the military does not qualify him to have a space or a private monument for his child in Veterans Park. The City Council went against established rules and disregarded the board charged with making these decisions and all the veterans that spoke on that day against this monument. You stated before the public comment events were even allowed that you had made up your minds. It was clear, it was a general consensus through all of you ladies that this was done. You ignored everybody that had input. In fact, you actually put down some of the veterans that spoke and insulted them. You never gave the parents any insults. You never cut the parents off. They got to speak for their whole time. Basically, transparency does not apply to the city council, who, by the way, you are elected by the people of the city of Las Cruces. In essence, you decided before the council was called to order, I strongly request that the videos pre-public comment be reviewed. Many veterans feel, as I do, that this was wrong. You women just don't get it. You are not veterans. I don't care if you have fathers that are veterans or brothers or sisters that are veterans. You don't understand honor. Again, I would like to offer my deepest sincere condolences to the family, to the Gonzalez family, for the loss of their child. But what you people did on June 7th was wrong. I'm asking to have it reviewed and to have it be readdressed in the form of an agenda item on the city council when cooler heads can prevail and emotions and sympathy don't come into play. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. English. Fourth row.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, my name is Tim Baker, and I'm with Chelsea Investment Corporation, and my colleague Amy Bennett is also with me, and she is a longtime resident of Las Cruces. I'm speaking regarding our upcoming The Three Sisters family development, and I just want to compliment the...
Sir, I'm sorry. Can you wait till it comes up?
I was directed to speak now. I'm happy
You
to come.
were.
I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm happy to come up at another time. I don't want to.
Consent. Go ahead,
Okay.
sir. Yes.
I'm happy to come in.
Sorry.
No, no worries. I'd like to compliment the entire city staff, city manager, your team, the Development Services Department, Natalie, and Jan, and specifically for the efforts on this project. We've committed, the city has committed $2.4 million to this development, and we are looking forward to breaking ground, closing on the funding at the end of September and breaking ground in October. And we're so excited and honored to be in the city of Las Cruces and to be good stewards of the community's funds and to be future good stewards of this development. Thank you so much for your positive contributions and your comments, and obviously if anything comes up now or over the many years that we'll be managing this property in the city, you know where to find us very much. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Appreciate it. Anybody else on the fourth row? Fifth row? Sixth row?
Mayor Pro Tem, Council, this morning I received various irate comments on the deplorable conditions of the U.S. flag in front of the City Hall. Yes, City Hall, our City Hall, Las Cruces City Hall. And as you can see how shredded it is split in half and in shreds. This didn't happen overnight. I can't believe we have thousands of dollars to spend on renaming Squaw Valley, but we can't replace the U.S. flag for $30, maybe less, in a timely manner. There is no excuse for this lapse. I have been listening to and working with Yoli Diaz for the last couple of months on a call for action and responsibility for healthcare access to improve health outcomes and reduce suffering in Doña Ana County for taxpaying residents that have been denied and delayed catastrophic healthcare, to include residents who are indigent and uninsured. As you know, Doña Ana is an extreme disadvantaged region in the state of New Mexico with the social determination of health, high cancer, mortality rates, its large Hispanic population, lower income levels, but you know all this. As a community, we need immediate action and long-term solutions to be considered and implemented. We have a governor who is planning to spend $10 million in another abortion clinic in the community. I don't think we need 3. So why not a catastrophic care center or a mental health or drug rehabilitation center that could help in resolving crime? You will say, these are different funds. So why not lobby through our senators and representatives to convince the governor of the importance of a catastrophic care for some illnesses? And in my opinion, instead of another abortion clinic that is only needed to support the growing abortion industry in New Mexico, catastrophic health care saves lives. Abortion clinics take lives. Thank you. And I will introduce this battered picture in for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Anybody else on the 6th row? 7th row.
Good afternoon. My name is Beverly Drum. I'm the Senior Vice Commander of DAV Chapter 10, Mesilla Valley. The veterans within a 25-mile radius received a postcard recently from Albuquerque regarding our VA claims and benefits workshop that we're having Tuesday, August 29. The time on that postcard is incorrect. The time on the flyer is correct. It is 9 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. This is at Mesilla Community Center. I have flyers on the back table and flyers in the lobby as well. So I just wanted to address all veterans. If they did receive that postcard, the time is correct. The time on the flyer is the correct time for the workshop. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Beverly.
You're welcome.
You want to give that flyer to our clerk so she can put it on the record, and we'll make sure that we get it up on maybe one of our bulletin boards or something of that nature. Thank you for being here and setting the record straight. Anybody in the 8th aisle? Anybody else on this side? No? Okay, let's. Anybody first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row, sixth, seventh? Anybody on this side? Okay, that concludes public participation. Thank you. I think the mayor is on. Yes, Mayor, you on?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm here.
Okay, we'll need a motion and a second to have mayor participate in the meeting.
So moved by Flores.
Second, Bencomo.
Motion made by Councilor Flores, second by Councilor Bencomo. Christine?
This is on the motion to allow the mayor to participate telephonically. Councilor Abeyta?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Coran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Gondeta?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. And Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just a couple things. I'm not sure if you mentioned anything, but just for the members of the public, I'm actually here in Nuremberg, Germany, with our delegation. It's our 30th anniversary. So I just wanted to welcome everyone from Germany, although you guys can't see. But nonetheless, that, and I was also going to ask to move the third item, I don't have the resolution in front of me, to move that when the time comes to discuss and vote for that item, if we can move the agenda item on that. And excuse me, real quickly, I just want to congratulate Natalia for her winning the Spelling Bee Championship as well as the solid waste individuals for their hard work in putting that fire out on the landfill over there on the East Mesa, east side, as well as our firefighters as well. It was a good combination of team effort to get that thing taken care of. So that's it. I'll be waiting for the other issue.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, next is we have a closed meeting statement to read. The Las Cruces City Council met in closed session at 11:03 a.m., August 14, 2023. The following members were in attendance: Mayor Ken Mehigashima, Councilor Cassandra Gandara, Councilor Tessa Beta, Councilor Becky Graham, Councilor Joanna Bencomo, Councilor Becky Corin, and Councilor Flores was absent. Staff was Mr. Peely, Miss Linda Samples, Haley Grant, our outside attorney, left at 11:19. Brad Douglas, Deputy City Attorney. Jeremy Story, Interim Chief LCPD. Ikani Tamoteo, Assistant City Manager. Barbara Bencomo, our Chief of Staff. Sonia Delgado, Assistant City Manager. The meeting adjourned at 11:37. Statement for the record: the Las Cruces City Council met in closed session and only discussed those limited items as stated in the posted notice. And the purpose was to close meeting is to discuss pending litigation regarding E. Nunez versus City of Las Cruces. E. Abundias is an individual in official capacity, and G. Sanchez is an individual in official capacity, which is closed pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 10-15(1)H7, and second, to discuss threatened litigation regarding J. Jones, which is closed pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-1H7. Okay. I need a motion to accept the agenda with, well, we already did that, so I don't have to say that. I do, with Mayor participating telephonically.
I move we accept the agenda with item 8.3, resolution 24-023, move to the top of the discussion list, please.
Councilor Corin. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Flores. Okay, motion made by Councilor Corin, second by Councilor Abeta.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
Real quick, I forgot to mention, I have no conflict of interest on any item on the agenda. So.
Thank you for clarifying that, Mayor. Christine.
This is on the motion to approve the agenda as presented with item 8.3 moved to the top of discussion. Councilor Beta.
Yes.
Councilor Graham.
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo.
Yes.
Councilor Coran.
Yes.
Councilor Flores.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes.
Okay. Next, 8.3, resolution number 24-023.
To approve, Corin.
Second, Abita.
Motion made by Councilor Corin, second by Councilor Abeta. Hello, Mr. Nichols and Ms. Gonzalez. Welcome back, Sarah.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, I don't know if it's your microphone. I was going to ask the mayor if he could mute himself while he's not speaking because it's really echoey.
Yeah, I'll just mute it, but I can turn off the whole. I'm watching the video of showing my colleagues what you all look like. And
Oh, hi, colleagues.
But,
We're wanting to say hi to you.
I'm salivating.
Christine,
Please.
is there Adrian or somebody there that could help us?
turned it off, so hopefully that helps. But so, did that help any?
It does, Mayor. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been. What is that? How does that sound? Okay. Better, right? Okay. No. Mr. Nichols, please proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor Miyakishima in Germany, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, city manager, and city officials. For the record, I'm Larry Nichols, Director of Community Development Department. The resolution today is a status update on a property that is both ruined and dilapidation in a state of uninhabitable condition. The basic site information on the property is located at 430 South Main and Loman. Basically, the closest intersection is Main and Loman. It's an unfinished and unsafe structure. That's based on inspections recently performed. The zoning for that property is a commercial C3 zoning. It's a very broad-based zoning. It allows for many types of activities, professional offices, retail, things of that nature. It also is in the infill district, which gives us additional incentives for to be developed. From a historical preservation review, it's regarded as a non-contributing structure. A brief chronology, starting back in 2010 through 2023. This property was issued a building permit in 2010 for a tenant improvement for development for some professional offices. But between 2010 and 2015, the project was initially began, but then stopped, and there was no further progress on the tenant improvement. Site inspections during that period of time, where there were numerous city of police department service calls. There were ranging from nuisances to trash, debris, calls for service. The same was continued through 2015 and 20, although at this point in time, there was also, in addition to those, was the structure was unsecured from unauthorized entry, and the police department service calls were continuing along with code enforcement. 2020 to 23, we had word that the owner, the developer and owner of that property had inquired interest in some activity being proposed for development and finishing the structure and for it to be occupied. Those never came to fruition, and the property remained in its unsafe, unoccupiable state. And then 23, in a telephone discussion with the owner, I had spoken to him about the abatement or demolition of the property. I'll give you more detail on the 23 chronology for the abatement process. In March, there was a site inspection called because the property was, there was weeds, debris, evidence of broken windows, removal of some of the boarding that was prevented unauthorized entry. So we did a site inspection. At the end of that, I posted a condemnation notice to the property and to be an unsafe structure. And again in March, I provided the owner with a certified letter of the inspection findings, and then he was, I did hear back in later on as verification of the notice that he had received that certified mail and acknowledgement of the notice of condemnation. And then there was a period of about 2 months that we were anticipating that the owner would respond back to tell us what he was going to do in order to abate the unsafe conditions at the property. However, there was no remedial work during that period of time, which caused us to go to the district court and receive an inspectoral order, basically a search warrant, to look at the interior premises of the structure. And we did that, and we found several conditions that were not only unsafe and all, but hazardous to any occupants that may have been in that building. So then had a telephone conversation with the owner in July 15th, a conversation with the owner asking him to what was he going to pursue to abate these conditions of this property. would he be continuing and abate by finishing the property, finish the construction, or demolition? His word to me was that he would pursue demolition. Based on that information, a demolition permit was issued on August 10th to a licensed New Mexico contractor. And on the 16th, I've gone by and I looked at that property, and they have begun to mobilize on the site to pursue the demolition. Basically, at this point, they have adjusted some of the barricade fencing so they have access to the interior. The contractor has advised me that he will start the demolition by removal of debris and other items from the interior, and then they will begin to remove the exterior framing that's unfinished and exposed, and then collapse the roof and then the walls of the structure. The statutory authority that the city has to impose a notice of condemnation is supported by New Mexico Statute Authority, Chapter 3, Article 18, and the New Mexico Administrative Code and Las Cruces Municipal Code. The summary of recommendations is that the facility is substandard, it's unfit for habitation based on multiple inspections and no remedial work performed. It's a hazard to public safety and welfare. That it's unsafe facilities due to the physical condition, both the exterior and interior of the structure and premises. And the structure is not in substantial compliance with our municipal building codes regulating habitable occupancy. And then further, that the responsible party shall abide by all permitting requirements to abate the structure and the property premises. I have also provided here a few conditions of the blighted conditions of the property that we inspected in not only in March, but again in a month or two later. You can see that there is some unsecured broken fencing that around the perimeter of the property, trash, weeds, and then there's weeds, trash, and drug paraphernalia that is scattered in different locations of the site. The next slide shows that there's an open trench in the interior of the structure that had to do with the plumbing when they were first talking about doing something with the building. Unsecured fencing, and again, drug paraphernalia scattered about. The unsecured panels on the exterior of the building, those panels provide what we call shear resistance to the framing. And so with them becoming unattached, that framing is subject to either collapse or possible injury to someone. In particular, the electrical wiring inside is exposed. During our inspections, we were notified the electric company, and we have disconnected the power to the building at the transformer. We've also disconnected the gas service to the building, and was what they call cut and capped, so that those hazardous conditions would not be stumbled on a person unaware. And you see a picture there of unauthorized occupancy on the interior of the building and some trash and debris. Again, the blighted condition. This is a picture. The first one is the unsecured and exposed fiberglass insulation, but more importantly, that is a result of the roof leakage and the roofing membrane not being intact. And again, unauthorized occupancy and trash. The interior showing that several of the lighting fixtures are hanging by the electrical wiring that supplies the power, which would be a definite hazard. And then we have exposed electrical wiring on the exterior of the building that has below it a dry weed, which would be if the power were energized, a very potential of having a fire at that site. That concludes my presentation. Your options are to vote yes to approve, vote no to deny, vote no to amend, or vote no to table. That concludes my presentations, and I stand for questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Yes, Councilor Bencomo?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, well, I'm just going to keep talking. My apologies, everyone.
Let me see if mine does it. Turn yours off.
Yeah, it's still doing it.
Go for it.
Okay, Larry, thank you. If you can, there we go. Okay. Okay. First of all, I just really want to thank you and City Manager Ifopili and staff for what I believe has been very good faith conversations with the owner and everyone involved in the last year, but also in the last decade, but especially in the last year. And so I just really wanted to thank you, Larry, for doing all of that work, and as well you, City Manager Pili, for taking our direction on this and really allowing staff to do what they needed to do. Larry, how long, for the demolition permit that was issued on the 10th, I believe you said, how long is that permit for? How long do they have to complete the demolition project?
Mayor Pro Tem and Councilor Bencomo, the permit is issued for 180 days. And the anticipation from the licensed contractor that took the permit believes that the demolition will be completed much before that period of time. We'll be monitoring it.
Okay, repeat the number again.
Pardon me?
Can you repeat the number of days you said?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, Councilor Bencomo, the permit is issued for 180 days.
180?
180.
Okay, thank you. And so we will be monitoring what happens in the event. Forgive me for my cynicism, but of course it's been 12 years. So what happens in the event that it is not completed in those days?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem and Councilor Bencomo, basically what you have, the action you have before you today would enable the city to step in and complete the demolition. If that the demolition was abandoned by the owner, then the city would step in, get bids from a demolition contractor and complete the demolition, and then file a lien on the property for those costs.
Thank you, Larry. That's, I think, important information for the public to understand. I was also, as we were sort of preparing for today, I was thinking about just the general nuisance, the general hazard that buildings like this cause the public and the community. And I asked Fire Chief Smith if he could give me some data regarding fires that had taken place at empty or abandoned properties in the last couple of years. And it's very initial data, so I want to read some of the numbers, but Mayor Pro Tem, I would also love it if Chief Smith would speak on just the danger that buildings like this pose to firefighters and the wider community. But in 2022, abandoned and unsecured fire incidents at abandoned and unsecured locations were 16. And in 2023 so far, abandoned and unsecured, there's been 9. And so that's pretty significant. I mean, perhaps in the context of their overall service calls, it might not seem like it, but 16 in 2022 and 9, that's a lot of fires, right? That have put our community at risk, but most importantly, our firefighters. So I don't know, Chief, if you wanted to add anything to that, as I know it was very raw data that you provided me.
Yes, Chief Smith.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Councilor Bencomo, Fire Chief Jason Smith. To give some context to the numbers that we're speaking about, the vacant and unsecured building fires that we've experienced, looking back from 2018 up until 2021, even as we were into the pandemic, we averaged just about 2.6 of those fires, so about 3 a year. So to have such a significant jump to 2022 at 16, I mean, that is well above 2 standard deviations. So we're talking probably closer to what we'd expect at being a very large outlier of those fires. At the same time in 2022, we had a large increase, over 50%, of just structure fires in general. So we are seeing more fire experience in our community. With that, though, I definitely appreciate the opportunity to talk about the safety and the risk to our firefighters. With this topic of fire and risk reduction, the U.S. Fire Service has one voice on this, on the challenges we face. Those include our community safety and building construction and design, as well as firefighter health. Our community and fire department, as well as the U.S. Fire Service, face major challenges in reducing fire risk across the nation. Removing those like this hazard here that we're speaking about on South Main helps protect the people in Las Cruces, but also our firefighters. Unoccupied and unsecured buildings pose a significant risk to our firefighters. We don't know what's inside those buildings, the contents, trash, debris. We've found used needles, tires, waste, a lot of things that contribute to fire spread and also the risk to our firefighters. With that, the number one cause of firefighter deaths now is cancer. So every time we go into a fire, whether it's a dumpster fire, a structure fire, an abandoned house, we're putting our firefighters at more and more risk for cancer. Even today, our fire marshal would have been here, but he's actually in a follow-up appointment with the Mayo Clinic, as he is a cancer survivor himself. And that was considered an on-the-job injury for that. So the more and more we can do to reduce these hazards, it benefits our community, but it also helps our firefighters, that they're not being exposed to this. That level of risk should only happen where we're going to be able to save somebody. And the opportunity for that is decreasing more and more. The actual deaths caused by structure fire has been increasing in the United States. So as the number of fires overall has gone down, the risk to occupants has gone up. And that's because of the type of construction we use with lightweight construction and the type of materials we put into our homes. We use petroleum-based furnishings, and now with the introduction of lithium-ion batteries, we're experiencing more and more significant fires with less time for people to escape. And what we need to be looking at now is how do we design our buildings and what fire safety protection do we put into those to keep our people and our firefighters safe. And the most important thing we can do is require sprinklers in all buildings, residential and commercial, moving forward. So with that, I'm glad that we're seeing this property here at South Main be addressed, and I hope that we can continue this through the city.
Thank you so much, Chief. I really appreciate that, because I think on its face, this ordinance is about abatement, but there's so many layers to that, and you just spoke to such important ones. So I really appreciate you speaking on that issue. And then just lastly, I'll say, I think there's surrounding this building and really surrounding a lot of our NAT properties, or Neighborhood Action Team properties, homes that have been abandoned. We're having a lot of conversations about that and what it means for property rights to be protected, right? That's critical, that the government doesn't come in and take something that you worked so hard to build and to have in your name. I think that line is very clearly spelled out. I think on the other side of that line is responsibility. As a property owner, you have incredible responsibility to yourself, to your neighbors, to your neighborhood, to first responders, to maintain, to upkeep your property at a minimum standard safe. And when you fail to do that is when measures like this have to be taken. Nobody wants to see this happen, absolutely not. But to me, it's a matter of responsibility, and it's a matter of taking ownership for the decision to be a property owner. So I just really want to appreciate you, Larry, and City Manager Peely for really getting us to this ordinance today. Thanks, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Councilor Bencomo. Anybody else on council? The public? Is there any public comment? If you have public comment, please come down. No? Okay. Seeing none. Christine? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor. Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you have any input, Mayor?
Not that I can say publicly, no. We're good. We're ready to roll.
All right, Mayor. Sounds good. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 24-023. Councilor Abeyta?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Also yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you again, Larry, staff. Okay, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Bye-bye. Okay, next up, 8.1, resolution number 24-021. Motion in a second?
Second?
So moved. Wait. Did you say something, Councilor Abeyta? I didn't hear
She
you.
said give your motion.
Okay, motion made by Councilor Abeyta, second by Councilor Bencomo. Hi. Charlie,
Hi there.
how are you?
Doing well, and you?
Good.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Gandara, Council, City Management and staff. My name is Charlie Fierro, Budget Analyst with Fiscal Management here with the city. And today I'm presenting a resolution proposing an amendment to the FY24 budget for the New Mexico Finance Authority, flood control infrastructure and street improvement projects. I'll go ahead and start with a brief recap of these two projects. On June 5th, 2023, City Council approved ordinances 3034 and 3035, which authorized the city to receive 2 NMFA improvement loans. The city was ultimately able to close on both of these loans, and the loan proceeds have been received by the city. The first loan is for $3,070,000. This loan is secured through the city's 5th quarter % increments of municipal GRT gross receipts tax. This loan is set to be utilized to improve flood infrastructure throughout the city. Our second loan is for $5,080,000. This loan is secured through the city's 1st quarter % increments of municipal GRT, and this loan is set to be utilized to improve the city roadways and public facility projects. This is part of the relentless efforts that are utilized to maintain the city's major streets. Now, the following budget adjustments are to establish an FY24 budget for loan proceeds, debt issuance cost, loan debt service transfers, and capital expenditures related to the various flood control infrastructure projects, as well as resurfacing, reconstruction, and the major maintenance of the city streets. We'll go ahead and start with a proposed budget amendment as follows. So for Fund 4636, which is our 2023 NMFA MGRT fund, $5,080,000 will be set up in revenue, and $5 million will be set up in expenditures for street improvements, as well as the $80,000 for debt issuance cost. This slide shows a proposed budget amendment for our flood control project. This is also going to be set up in Fund 4636. $3,070,000 will be set up under revenue, and $3 million will be issued to flood control infrastructure expenditures. $70,000 will be issued to debt issuance costs. And again, this is for flood. This slide shows the proposed budget amendment as follows. So we will be transferring $1,051,346 from Fund 3636, which is our 2023 NMFA Streets Debt Fund. These monies are being transferred to Fund 1500, which is our Hold Harmless Contingency Fund, HHR. This transfer will be to cover the loan principal and interest payments for the life of the loan. Right below that, we're transferring $774 with $15 from Fund 3637, which is our 2023 NMFA Flood Debt Fund. And once again, these monies are being transferred to Fund 1500, our HHR Contingency Fund, and this is to cover loan, principal, and interest payments throughout the loan. For slide 7, the proposed budget amendment is as follows. We're establishing an expense line of $845,000 under Fund 3636, which again is our 2023 NMFA Streets Debt Fund. This line will make up the loan principal expenditures for street. The next line is also an expense line for $124,262. This item will make up the loan interest payments for street. Finally, this brings me to Fund 3637, which is our NMFA Flood Debt Fund. Here we are establishing expense lines mirroring what we did for street above. You have $625,000 as your expense for loan principal payments, and $78,605 as an expense for loan interest payments. Now, my final slide is a brief summary of how this will kind of touch our existing capital improvements program. The first line can be found on your CIP on page 6. This is touching our CIP bucket titled Resiliency, where $3 million have been allocated toward flood green infrastructure improvements. The second line can be found in our CIP on page 7. This is touching our CIP bucket titled Active Transportation, where $5 million have been allocated toward improving street bicycle facilities and pedestrian safety improvements. This concludes my presentation, and it brings you to your council options. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Gondara and Mr. Mayor, for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Fierro. Any questions? Seeing none from the audience, any public comment on this particular item? Seeing none, Christine.
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 24-021. Councilor Beta?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Curran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
And the mayor is absent.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is a resolution number 24-022.
Move to.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Abeta, second by Councilor Bencomo. Hello, Mr. Mush.
Hello, Mayor Pro Tem. Let me pull this up. Okay, I think I have the right one. Good. And Councilor Flores, it's so wonderful to see you. So, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, before you is a resolution that we are being asked to do by the Department of Finance and Administration, which we call DFA. We did present this briefly to our Finance Select Committee. I think Councilor Bencomo and the mayor were at this meeting, and we sort of explained to them that DFA is just asking for some requirements for us for cleanup for FY23 and also a little bit of cleanup for FY24. So moving forward, just to give you a little bit of background that's also in your council packet, the city is required to report the financials and our budget also to the state of New Mexico through the Department of Finance Administration, which we call DFA. We do this quarterly, and of course, any budget adjustment that we bring forward to you, we also report that to DFA as well. And like I said, DFA is requiring us to make these various adjustments, and this is for their financial reporting system. So in order for us to make any changes in their reporting system, we have to bring a resolution to you that you can approve. So we're not really making any big adjustments in our system, our ERP system in Munis. This is strictly just on their side, and they require a resolution for that. So with that, we are making 2 budget adjustments, which I'll go over in a few minutes. The financial report, which we brought to you, accounting brought to you in July. So we're updating that. They've required some updates on that. And then the all-fund summary for FY24 as well. So the first adjustment is there are two we have a law enforcement retention fund, and then we also have a law enforcement recruitment and retention fund. This first one that we'll be talking about was in Resolution 23-112. We brought to you the original award, which was $100,896. Back in March of 2023, we were notified of an increase on that fund, and DFA is requesting that we do a budget adjustment for the end of the fiscal year for $20,607 to make it to where we're even with them, okay? DFA is also requesting that the city use different funds in their reporting system. In our reporting system, we take both of those funds and we put them together. We have them separated by project number, which is totally acceptable for all auditing purposes and also for DFA. But in their reporting system, they want one in one fund and one in another one. And unfortunately, in one of the last report that we sent to them, we inadvertently put them in one fund and not separate them. So we're just making that correction on their side. And that is the same with this one right here, the Law Enforcement Recruitment and Retention Fund. We were originally rewarded $5 million, which, by the way, just let you know that the police department was able to use all $5 million. I think need an applause on that one. But DFA is requiring, again, just like I said, that they use different funds in their reporting system. Then they're asking for a little bit of cleanup. At the end of the fiscal year, actually the beginning of 23, we brought to council resolution 24-004. This was our end of the year budget adjustment for FY23. Unfortunately, when we were given information on this budget, it was not, there was a little bit that was not in the budget adjustment. It was a transfer from one fund to another fund. And unfortunately, the original transfer of where it was coming from was not included. And so it was a one-sided budget adjustment. So we're just making some corrections on that in our system and also in their system to make sure that we finish up that correction and that adjustment. And so DFA is requiring that we clean that up as well. And with this, these are your council options. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. And I do have staff here with me from accounting and also from budget.
Thank you, Ms. Demush. Any questions? Councilor Flores.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Ms. Demush, for your presentation. And so it doesn't change the way we've been doing our finances.
No, ma'am.
It's just a change in terms of how it has to be reported to DFA.
Mayor Pro Tem Gondeta and Councilor Flores, you are absolutely correct. Yes, ma'am.
Great. Thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Flores. Anybody else? Seeing none. To the public? Seeing none. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 24-022. Councilor Beta?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
And the mayor is absent.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next up, 8.4, Council Bill number 24-002. Sarah? Hi. I got a bit confused, but no, I'm paying attention. Very good. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Yes. Sarah Gonzalez with Community
Move
Development.
to approve. Sorry, Mayor Pro Tem, motion to approve.
I'm sorry, yes, motion.
Second, Graham.
Thank you. Motion made by Councilor Beta, second by Councilor Graham. I got a bit ahead of myself. Sarah, we're very excited to see you. Yes, very cool.
Thank you. Before you is the amendment to the University District Citizens Design Review Committee. This is a board that currently reviews any of the design elements for site, landscaping, architecture, for any of our basically redevelopments or new development in the university overlay. Currently, they have regularly monthly meetings. The membership includes 7 people, of which is the University District Counselor. We also have the NMSU architect, 1 citizen with some type of design expertise, such as architecture, landscaping. We have 3 citizens who own property within the overlay, and we have 1 NMSU student representative. We are requesting to change the membership due to quorum at this point. We do have currently 2 vacancies. We've had 1 vacancy for over a year. We just lost one of our other members who have been on the board for about 22 years. And so with the 2 vacancies, and in order to ensure quorum so we don't delay development, we are requesting to maintain the University District Counselor, the NMSU architect, but to change to 3 citizens who either own property, own a business, or reside within the area. That still ensures the investment and the compliance with the university overlay. We're also requesting to just have meetings as necessary. We only meet whenever there are design elements to be reviewed or approved, and so monthly meetings are not necessary. With that, here are your council options, and I stand for any questions.
Thank you, Sarah. Any feedback, concerns? The public? Seeing none. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve ordinance 3044. Counselor Beta?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo?
Yes.
Counselor Cran is absent. Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
And Mayor is absent.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, 8.5, Council Bill number 24-003. I need a motion.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second. Abeta.
Motion made by Councilor Graham, second by Councilor Abeta. Natalie, you look very striking in red, Natalie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's as tall as it's going today. Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem Gandara, City Council, Natalie Green, Housing and Revitalization Administrator with the City Manager's Office today. The ordinance before you is an amendment to Chapter 13, Article 1, commonly known as the City's Fair Housing Ordinance. Just a little background, the original Fair Housing Ordinance was adopted in April 1969. It was adopted just 1 year after the Federal Fair Housing Act was signed into law by Lyndon B. Johnson in 1968. So the city has a long-standing policy around the protection of public safety, public health, and general welfare, and ensuring equal treatment and opportunity for persons regardless of their protected class, and to prohibit discrimination in housing by any person. Again, some history. The Fair Housing Act has been amended over time as changes have occurred. One of the biggest ones was in 1991 when the federal government added protections for families with children and persons with disabilities as part of a revision to the Civil Rights Act. We've also added protections over the years for ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, victims of domestic violence, spousal affiliation, and then there's been administrative changes as programming has changed. So what this ordinance does, it continues to prohibit discrimination based on, again, those protected classes: race, gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, ancestry. It also adds protections for lawful sources of income. So it would prohibit a landlord from rejecting a tenant solely based on their lawful source of income. It does continue to allow landlords to price their units as they see fit, and it allows landlords to charge any necessary fees or deposits that are allowed under the state's uniform landlord-tenant laws. What it does not do, again, it doesn't prevent any landlords from vetting their tenants, so we absolutely encourage landlords to have those tenancy protections or tenancy requirements. So they are allowed to do criminal background checks, they can do references, they can charge security deposits. It does not prevent landlords from evicting any tenants who are not paying their rent. It does not prohibit landlords from interviewing tenants or having application procedures. It does not force landlords to set units at any particular price. Again, the landlords maintain all ownership over their property, and so they can set their units as they see fit. So we're not forcing landlords to be below market value or below fair market value. It doesn't prevent landlords from raising rent at the end of lease agreements. and it doesn't prevent any landlords from being able to evict their tenants. Source of income definition, so it's any lawful form of payment, could include child support, alimony, it could be annuities, life insurance policies, any subsidy from a federal, state, or local funding source, such as disability benefits, housing choice vouchers, rental assistance programming, or public assistance. Just some information around implementation of these types of programs across the state. Again, Albuquerque approved their ordinance, and it was subsequently approved in Bernalillo County. We will be the third local government to, if this is approved today, to implement one of these ordinances, and then City of Santa Fe is modeling their ordinance after ours, and so I suspect theirs will follow shortly after our ordinance. So I talked to their housing director, and she said our ordinance was beautiful, so never heard it called that before. Some next steps, if this is approved today, is we'll be working with our communications team. We have some HUD funding to roll out a new fair housing awareness campaign, so we'll be utilizing that funding first. And then we'll work on some staff training, not just for the housing team, but staff around the city. And then we'll start looking at our revised programming. As you noticed today, it's an ordinance, so we're not bringing forward a budget adjustment, but we will continue to evaluate any need for additional budgets as we revise that programming. And so you have your standard council options, and I'll stand for comments or questions.
Thank you, Natalie. Yes, Councilor Graham.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Natalie. I'm just going to repeat a couple of points I made when we first saw this. I'm really excited to see this ordinance come forward to us today. You had already mentioned, Natalie, some of the places in state that have similar ordinances. At the time that I looked this up, which was a couple of months ago, 22 states had a source of income discrimination points in their ordinances, and more than 100 municipalities. So this is not out of the norm. I like seeing that we're still on the forefront in the state, but this is definitely not out of norm of standards of municipalities trying to address the housing crisis. I'd also, at the time, you and I discussed, concerns that maybe the inspection standards would be overburdensome for landlords. You were able to point us to the 13 key aspects of HUD's housing quality standards and point out that they are actually pretty minimal for livable housing, things like water supply, lead-based paint, smoke detectors. So definitely nothing too fancy or forcing people to make burdensome upgrades to their rentals. And finally, one question, if you could go back to your final, perfect. If you could go back to your final slide, or perhaps the slide before our options. In evaluating the need for additional budget, one thing that we had also discussed was education or assistance for landlords who are wanting to move into I think we had talked about Section 8 housing. Is that something that we could consider wrapping into additional budget, so assistance for landlords as they're navigating changes?
Mayor Pro Tem Gonda, Councilor Graham, that's part of our revised programming. So we're looking, not only locally is there a landlord risk mitigation fund already rolling out. The state had a very successful pilot program for a landlord incentive risk mitigation fund in collaboration with CYFD, and they're going to roll that out statewide. So we want to make sure those go out first, and that we're complementing their programming, and then if we need additional funds to stand those up a little bit more here in Las Cruces, we'll do that and bring that forward.
Great. Unsurprised to hear that you're again thinking ahead of me, and I appreciate it as always. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Councilor Graham. Anybody else? Seeing none on the dais, how about public? Yes, please, if you have comments, please come down to the front. And sir, If you want to make your way down here, please do. We'll give you 2 minutes, and please state your name for the record.
Thank you. My name is Fred Huff. I am not a landlord, but the one concern that I have about this, and I understand people need housing. I see the tents all over town. It breaks my heart. I visited with a homeless lady today. We gave her some money to help her. But my concern is on forcing these landlords to use vouchers. Most of these tenants, in my experience of what I've seen as I've visited and gone around town, is a lot of these people don't respect property and they don't take care of it. I was over at Desert Hope the other day and I saw a police officer. It looked like he was kind of staking out the joint, so I approached him and asked him what was going on. And he said that they had just evicted a tenant from Desert Hope. And this is a city-run project, as you all know, and now this officer is not a contractor, but he estimated that this tenant had done over $10,000 damage. My concern is if landlords are forced to accept tenants strictly on voucher, proof of income, lawful income, as you say, where's the guarantee or the help that if they destroy their apartment, are you all going to? I don't see that in the ordinance where you're going to help pay for the damage. Why would they want to do that if they may lose more money than they gain by renting it out? In some of the documentation concerning this, and you never did start your timer, I still see it set at 3 minutes. But anyway, a person by name of Lee had put some information in the attachment. And this person, Lee, said, adding the burden of requiring landlords to accept Section 8 vouchers will cause even more landlords to sell their rentals, thus reducing the number of available affordable rentals even more. So I'm wondering if this might create more of a housing shortage than increasing it.
Thank you,
So
Mr.
it's my
Huff, for your
concerns
comments.
there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Beth Bardwell, and I'm making public comment today on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Southern New Mexico. The League of Women Voters of Southern New Mexico supports passage of this ordinance to provide source of income protection to individuals, including those that hold housing vouchers. The Housing Choice Voucher Program is the federal government's largest rental housing assistance program, and the program serves a disproportionate number of families with children, racial and ethnic minorities, and persons with disabilities. Here locally, the Mesilla Valley Public Housing Authority provides more than 1,000 families and individuals with housing vouchers. In 2018, HUD did a study at 5 sites nationwide, and they showed clear evidence of outright denial of vouchers as high as 67%. Denials occurred more often in census units with higher income households. Sites that had fewer landlord denial, as low as 31%, had laws that provided source of income protection, suggesting that this ordinance will be effective. Given that the current supply of affordable housing units is very low and rates for rentals and home sales have skyrocketed, the League supports amending the Fair Housing Law to ensure low-income families, the elderly, and the disabled have an equal opportunity to access housing regardless of the source of their lawful income. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bardwell.
Good
afternoon, Council. My name is Erin Boyd. I work with Mesilla Valley Community of Hope. I just wanted to come and make public comment that I am in support of amending this ordinance. I have been housing individuals that are experiencing homelessness through Community of Hope for almost 10 years now, working with different vouchers from the HUD Section 8 vouchers to other HUD-funded vouchers. And what's been great is that we've really been able to collaborate with different landlords in our community. However, the need for additional landlords that will accept vouchers is high. We've retained these very few landlords for numerous years. And although, yes, there is some instances where there does end up being some damage, but creating that how we had talked, additional funding for landlord retention and things like that are super important. However, the landlords that we do work with appreciate that having a voucher also guarantees a rent each month from the voucher. A lot of times too, it comes with support. So through our agency, it's having that additional support system, monthly home visits, different things like that. And so there are definite benefits, but by not allowing individuals the opportunity, how do we know whether they're going to be successful or not? We're creating bigger barriers if we continue to have ordinances as such that discriminate against those that are of low income or disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Boyd.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Elizabeth Rodriguez Johnson, and I'm also here to vocalize my support for this ordinance. I will tell you just a quick story as to why this is so important. Just recently, my husband and I went to a grocery store. Before that, I had done my routine. It was in the morning, and I'm sure I looked shuffled, and my hair was muffled, and I probably didn't even match. But we went into the grocery store. I put a couple of limes in a bag, handed them to my husband. He picked some other stuff up because we're really in a hurry. And we go through the checkout, and we check out. And we proceed to walk out, and I got stopped and accused of shoplifting. And my husband, who's not a Hispanic, was there the whole time. I mean, with me the whole time. He didn't accuse, I got accused. And I proceeded to march myself in, speak to the manager, then call the regional office, and everybody, of course, apologized. But the fact is that a lot of people, this day and age, still make decisions based on what you look like. And it's still a problem. And these folks, you know, the vouchers are legitimate. They should be able to use them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez.
Ms. Rodriguez?
There's a question for you up here.
Sorry.
Did you tell them that you're a PhD and we're a consultant to the DOD and that you have Pentagon clearance? Did you tell them that?
No, what I told
you
him
should have.
What I told him was, I'm a retired mathematician, I said, but I have a lot of girlfriends who are retired attorneys, and I hope one day you accuse them of the same thing, because they look just like me. I said, they'll have your butt in court, you know, quicker than you can bat your eyelashes. So
great.
That's what I told them.
Good.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Sorry for your misfortune. Yes, Councilor Bengomo.
Thanks, Mayor Pro Tem. I actually did think of a follow-up question for Natalie. Just in terms of getting the word out, Natalie, to landlords about this recent change, what is the plan for that? Do you have the necessary resources for all of that?
Mayor Pro Tem Gandara, Councilor Bencomo, we have some fair housing funds that we set aside every year for awareness activities. It comes directly from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, so we'll be rolling out those funds as part of the education campaign, and then we'll start to work on our other needs, and then we'll bring those back as needed.
Thank you. And then just an addition, I wish Officer Roach was still here. I know he was here earlier from Codes for how we, enforcement and really working on enforcement from an education standpoint, right? Not a punitive standpoint. And so can you just speak to that a little bit?
Correct. So that's part of, first we'll roll out our awareness campaign. We have some new marketing materials that we want to push out. Then we'll work on our staff training. Since this is becoming sort of a statewide initiative, we'll be working with the other municipalities on that training. Again, it's very much an incentive and awareness campaign. The last thing we want to do is be punitive to landlords. That's definitely not our intent. As I mentioned, the state of New Mexico is rolling out not only landlord incentives and retention funding, they've also rolled out a landlord support hotline, and so we want to make sure we're modeling their program and working with their programming. And then as we determine what complementary services are needed to both the local programming out of the various voucher providers and the state, we'll come back if we need additional budget.
Thank you for repeating that on the landlord mitigation funds, in case folks hadn't heard that when you asked some of those questions, Councilor Graham. So I appreciate that so much, Natalie. And honestly, I just really want to appreciate your team. I know that Jan, honestly, she gets lots of calls about this, right? About people who have the funds but cannot find places, that are being turned away. And so I can't imagine the kind of phone calls that Jan has to field every single day, but I really do just want to thank your staff.
Yes, thank you. All staff is on a call rotation, so 528-3022, and we do get multiple calls and emails all day long about water issues, air conditioning issues. We saw a $600 rental increase last week. And so they're all extremely difficult calls to take. So the staff is really amazing.
Thank you. Councilor Bencomo, Councilor Flores.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for bringing this to council. We've been waiting for many years to get this done. I just, besides the mitigation and working with landlords, what are the penalties, or where are the teeth, or exactly? I mean, the education, mitigation, yada, yada, but where's the teeth on this?
Mayor Pro Tem Gandara, Councilor Flores, so as part of the municipal code, there is an enforcement piece through municipal court, so it's subject to up to $500 fine. So it's a ticketing process, just like any other violation of the municipal code.
So is there information going out to the public so that people are aware that they have the right to, that they have the right to use their lawful funds to secure housing?
Correct, Mayor Pro Tem Councilor Flores. So as part of our first steps, assuming this gets adopted today, we'll start with that awareness campaign about the changes to the Fair Housing Ordinance, both the rights of the tenant and the rights of the landlord, and we'll push that information out. We typically hand out landlord-tenant handbooks to both landlords and tenants, and then we also have some other flyers, so we want to update all of that. And then staff regularly provides training on fair housing awareness, both to members of the public and then to all city staff as part of new employee training, so we'll be revising all of that training material as well.
Well, that's excellent. Have you considered, or maybe the city should consider, having a forum here in Chambers for the public to attend? And also, is all this going to be distributed in different languages? I don't know. I know Spanish is prevalent, but I think that there are other communities that have grown who would benefit from having interpreters at such a meeting. Has that been considered?
Mayor Pro Tem Gandara, Councilor Flores, as part of our HUD programming, we have a Spanish interpreter at all meetings, and we translate everything into Spanish. And then we also have notations as part of our outreach campaigns that if they require other languages or other formats, we are mandated by law to do that. So upon request, we can absolutely translate to those other languages. The federal government is really great about pushing out fair housing material in all languages, so we have access to those resources
Oh, that's
as well.
wonderful. But, so, Mr. Peely, it'd be great if the city would sponsor, or whatever the word is, have a meeting here to call in the community and make them well aware. Because I think the word would trickle out if, you know, if you have one person, that person's going to talk to 5, and the 5 will talk to 5 more, and so on and so forth. And I think hearing it in person has an impact more so than just receiving something in print. I mean, not that that isn't important, but I think it'd make a better impact. Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes? Great. Okay. Start planning. Thank you, Mr. Peely.
Thank you, Councilor Flores. Anybody
Thank you.
else on the dais? Okay, seeing none.
This is on the motion to approve ordinance 3045. Councilor Abeyta?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Cran is absent. Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
And the mayor is absent.
Okay, motion passes. Next up, board appointments. I see none. And notice of proposed ordinance is Council Bill number 24-005, ordinance number 3047.
Bring it forward.
Okay, bring it forward. Next up, City Council member board reports and comment. Okay. I was asked by Mayor to sit on a coalition of mayors for sustainability last week. I found it very fascinating. It is a statewide group, and I was educated on the 3 bills that they helped bring to fruition. One was a legacy fund, a renewable energy office, and special district act. They spoke, in addition, they spoke to community solar, really trying to move forward, especially around the equity piece, which is really important. How do we encourage, that in our low income? And so looking forward to hearing more about what that is going to look like for folks that can't afford that. Let's see, we had our, I'll just say that I attended our community schools meeting that Councilor Graham facilitates, does a great job. It was sort of a part 2 of our strategic planning, and there's some real exciting things that are happening related to moving into how we incorporate obviously other schools, but mostly the safety, care, and belonging of our youth and youth voice and choice. I think it was a great opportunity to get feedback. We always hear from the number of community in the schools. It's really exciting what they're able to do in such a short amount of time, so I'm happy to be a part of that. And then lastly, wanted to address a couple of public comments specifically to the animal services, the letter that was sent out. I have not seen that letter. I know folks were concerned. I did receive a couple of emails related to asking our veterinarians specifically about helping with spay and neuter and whatnot at low cost and or no cost. Quite frankly, I agree. I don't know anybody that would do something like that at no cost at all. And some of the dialogue that I know our executive team is having with with Clint Thacker is, providing a stipend of sorts. So we're throwing out a number of ideas just to entice our veterinarians to participate in helping, being part of the solution. And so I think EFO probably has an update on that. And I'm looking forward to hearing that. But again, I think there was a miscommunication. I like to believe that when we do ask that it won't be for nothing, but we have a huge issue. Everybody knows that our center is filled, and we are working towards trying to come with viable solutions and strategies. And then last, I would say that our Mayor's Task Force, Suicide Prevention Task Force, is putting together Recovery Night celebration. It'll be September 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's a three-day event. September 7th will be the Southwest Summit. We will, at that time, have an opportunity to speak to our legislators very specifically about substance abuse and addiction services that we think we need to have specifically in our city. So speaking to Juan Garcia and some others about those conversations that allegedly haven't been had, they have been had. We've had two bills specifically for game changer strategies addressing substance abuse and addiction. We've had communications and a particular agenda item on our Health Policy Review Committee addressing Los Amigos project or program. I know that staff is diligently working on addressing that. So just wanted to put forth that information. Also, September 8th, we'll have a youth summit, which will be really exciting, inviting hopefully 100+ youth in our city to participate in sort of just giving the adults information about what they're addressing in school and how we can help be more cognizant of and aware of what they're dealing with at schools related to mental health and substance abuse and addiction, particularly after we heard some very incredible data related to youth and vaping and tobacco. Such a huge issue for us, and we want to be a part of that solution as well. And then finally, Recovery Night. It's happening on Saturday. It'll be at the Plaza de las Cruces. If you want information, please reach out to me. And with that, I'll turn it over to Councilor Flores.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I want to apologize to my District 6 constituents and residents of the entire city for my prolonged absence. I broke my foot and I was on crutches, and then I fell again on those crutches. At any rate, the doctor took the boot off on Wednesday, and I'm in physical therapy, and I'm able to get around with minimal, well, there's still pain, but it's not as bad as it was 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, whenever it was. And I want to thank the constituents. I want to thank our people, our staff, Adrian Widmer from Department of the Director of Utilities, David Cedillo, Public Works Director, and who else? I want to thank Mayor Pro Tem for taking my place. I mean, I'm irreplaceable, I know, but thank you. No, I want to thank you for doing that. And thank you, Katrina, for, yay. Yeah, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, but let me finish. I'm not done. Katrina Godinez for organizing this, working with me to get the topics for our constituents in District 6. And Christine Rivera, our city clerk, who was there to explain the redistricting issue and ranked choice voting. And so I just, I know I'm missing, am I missing anything else, Katrina?
David Cedillo.
Yeah, no, I mentioned David. Okay, cool. Yeah. What else? Oh, yes. Oh, okay, okay. So I want to thank everybody, and also I think that it shows how wonderful our city is, and I especially wanted Dr. or Engineer Widmer to let people know what a fantastic water system we have in the city. I read an article some months ago, and I brought it to Adrian Widmer's attention, that Chicago was the only the only city that read something with water. I can't remember what it was. And so I asked Adrian, and she explained very carefully. I think there was a distinction or a difference, but maybe, a distinction without a difference type of thing. The city of Las Cruces is really in the forefront of really taking care of our water and recycling our water. And I know that it's recycled because I walk by, well, I used to walk before I broke my foot, by the golf club on Golf Club Road, the golf course, and you can smell that there's a certain smell to that water. So I just, I want to thank everybody for, I think, and I sent an email or a text to my fellow councilors and Mayor Pro Tem and EFO, our city manager, feeling that my absence, in spite of my absence, that the city would carry on beautifully. And it did. It probably carried on better because they didn't have someone talking here all the time. I just want to make sure that you all understand why I was not here. It also threw a wrench into my plans to travel to visit my son who lives in Europe and his children's birthdays and baptism. I missed out on that. And it was almost as bad as missing out on not coming to City Council. Yeah, right. Anyway, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Flores. Councilor Bencomo.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Couple of things. I want to congratulate everyone at Casa de Peregrinos and everyone involved in that project, including city staff and really the whole community and our state legislators for coming together and helping build this new incredible facility. Their ground opening was last week. It was outside. It was very hot, but it was an incredible turnout. I think it's a testament to how much people love the work that is done at the Community of Hope campus, and obviously we're there to celebrate Casa de Peregrino. So huge thank you to all of them for having us, and for IFO for speaking there as well. The city, Natalie and the housing department are working with Project Moxie, a consulting firm that is going to be helping us with our housing investment strategy, as now that we have the Go Bond money and all of that, and they presented at our housing PRC last week, and they're really incredible. They're just so knowledgeable and innovative, and so we actually had a joint meeting with that new housing committee that we created that's going to think about how to spend those $6 million Go Bonds. And so if they reach out to you, please respond, meet with them. They're meeting with stakeholders. They're meeting with a ton of folks in the community, and we'll be getting a plan back to us, I think, in 3 months. So it's going to be really exciting. Which leads me to my next point, and this really I think is for city management, but really everybody. This is my 4th summer on council, and I have never gotten as many emails or social media, people reaching out to me regarding hot conditions in their apartments. There's a big apartment complex that didn't have air conditioning for several days, if not a week or so. And the tenants just didn't even know what to do. There have been multiple emails I've received from kids of their elderly parents worried about, it's 108 degrees in my elderly mom's home. The landlord doesn't want to change the AC or doesn't want to upgrade the AC. And so there are significant issues regarding heat. And as we think about summer is getting hotter and hotter, this globally, record heat, right? And so as we think about how that's going to impact vulnerable communities in the Southwest, this is one of them. And so I know that housing was thinking about creating some sort of funding source, EFO, to help folks in these conditions. And I just want to, put sort of my name behind that, and just really the urgency around working with folks who are most vulnerable and experiencing these kind of conditions. And I know that I've been talking to, my colleagues here, Councilor Gandara and Flores, because they've been working on a unified housing code for a very, very long time. And so we're, really working to push that through. That, as we know, Natalie presented not too long ago about air conditionings not being a requirement in apartments. And that's just a travesty. Just like in the wintertime, we have moratoriums for people's heat to not be shut off. We should be just as concerned with the dangers of heat in the summertime. And so I just really wanted to lift that up because, like I said, I promise you no other summer while I've been here I've gotten this many concerning emails or phone calls from people worried about their loved ones in unliving conditions. So I just wanted to lift that up before. I know that you're probably talking to Natalie about some of the plans that they had, but I'm hoping that either that comes to council soon, or if it doesn't have to, that is moving forward. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Bencomo. Councilor Graham.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just two small updates, both bicycle related. Thanks to Velo Cruces, George Pearson, Ashley Curry, and some others for inviting me on their monthly visibility ride. I did that last week, so kind of riding major streets during rush hour commute traffic. It was a little scary. I had some choice words for some drivers. Again, nothing that I'm going to put on the record. Similarly, on September 16th, the annual mayor's bike ride. I wish Mayor were here so I could diss him a little bit, but I guess he is stepping down from his annual bike ride, so it's going to be a city council bike ride. And I know we're going to miss it. I heard that he used to do some sick tricks like wheelies, some rant. No? Oh no. No, just kidding. But yes, myself and I think a couple of you will be joining me on the council bike ride. Looking forward to that. Mayor Pro Tem, I'm going to make sure you have a helmet. It's going to be great. But no, thank you to Velo Cruces and for others in the cycling community for always being such engaged community members. I really appreciate it. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor Graham. I am looking forward to it. Councilor Abeyta.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I have a few report outs to give. The first Oversight Committee did meet last week. We were able to go over the monthly hotline complaints. We had 10 that came in, 5 were on customer relations, 3 on safety, 1 on product quality, and 1 for potential substance use. And so we overviewed those. We also saw that 4 completed OIR reports came in. And the committee itself talked a little bit about the presentation that we heard about audit. There were some questions that came up on the ethics survey and the numbers that we saw on that. So that is one item. And in the future, we are going to look at issues regarding just the ordinance itself. As you know, it is still a newer ordinance, and so just making sure that it's aligned for the needs and looking at that of the Inspector General now that we have one and we're meshing in how that contributes to the system as a whole. I also went to our Juvenile Justice Continuum meeting. However, there was no quorum there, so we were not able to meet. And this kind of speaks to another issue that I know we have been seeing adjustments to boards and committees to make sure that we're having full and meaningful participation. This is also another board that I think needs to have some change. It is a very large board. And so getting quorum, especially during the day where most of these individuals have other employment, is difficult. So I do want to say thank you to Christine for already looking at some of those items and making adjustments like we saw here today with our University Design Review Board. Next week, I will be absent from council as I will be at the annual conference for the Municipal League in Farmington. I know that we have a few staff members going too, so thank you. I will be moderating a panel on the new green hydrogen project in Cuesta and also performing other duties as needed. And I think that is all, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Abeyta. Mr. Peely.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. First, I just want to express my deepest apologies to you, Council, and residents, and also especially our military veterans. That was on me, the flag flying, me and my staff. Apparently it was torn in the wind last night, and I know it should be removed immediately. And so it's been taken down, but just want to express my apologies for that. It won't happen again. Another, just for clarification, the letter that was sent out, Barbara just sent me the clarification here. So Animal Control, we sent that letter out, but the whole purpose of that was to just see what capacity is available out there. There was no intention of asking the veterinarians to perform this work for free. It was between the county, animal services, all looking into a program. You know, there was a proposal earlier about mandating spay and neuter, and so a program that would allow some type of funding, but we couldn't do it without the capacity of the veterinarians. And so this letter was just to reach out to see if there's anybody willing to participate in a program that would offer it, not necessarily having them do it for free or even subsidize it. It was more so that it would be a joint effort with the county to do that. So just wanted to clarify for anybody about that. And then I don't have anything, any other reports from my staff. Council, just want to express my appreciation to you all. My contract is, it's been 3 years. I appreciate the trust you have in me and renewing that, and look forward to some great things ahead.
I just want to tell you that it's irrevocable. You cannot break that contract.
Very good. Thank you, Ifo, so much. Thank you. We appreciate you and look forward to many more years serving with you. Yes. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
So moved. Second by Flores.
Motion made by Councilor Abeyta, second by Councilor Flores. Christine.
This is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Councilor Abeyta?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Cran is absent. Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
And Mayor is absent.